Every sensory input you have gives you a very different emotion. You might see something, you might hear something, you might feel something. All of these things can give rise to some sort of an emotion. What does it do to you? You only have a certain programmatic way you're dealing with those emotions. Now, the reason why I'm talking about these sensory inputs is when you think about the number of digital inputs we have nowadays, including our phones, televisions, and everything, that at a point in time, it can give you multiple sensory inputs. If it can give you multiple sensory inputs, what does it do to your emotions? It can suddenly change you from a very happy moment, very happy mood, into a very unhappy mood too. So, should you allow yourself to be receiving that many number of sensory inputs? You need to think about that. Why does it matter? As I said, your emotions would guide how would you take different actions. If you are guided by those emotions without realizing, because you can't always be on guard for your emotions and the connected feeling, connected actions as well. If you need to stay like that, you need to be always fully mindful about all those inputs. Now, with the amount of inputs humans are getting nowadays, that's impossible. So, then what would you need to do? You need to create boundaries. You need to create boundaries around the number of sensory inputs you're getting. If you feel like you get too much stressed, if you feel like you get too much agitated during a day, you need to start cutting down. You need to start creating these boundaries. If you don't create these boundaries, you're going to receive so much, because the way things have been built to make our lives easy has not only resulted in making it a little bit easier, it has brought in some other challenges that we might not be able to easily handle. That's why we need to understand that. That's what I wanted to bring here to your attention, because for your success, your emotional well being is very important. For you to take the right actions for your future, you need to stay in such a positive state of mind, good state of mind. That is why you need to really look after your temple in your mind. How can you look after your temple in mind? You need to keep the boundaries and not to let the weeds to get in. When you see the weeds, just remove them. Don't try to battle with them. Instead, just remove them and then slowly build the necessary boundaries for those weeds not to access yourselves. When you do that, you are cutting down the number of sensory inputs and you are going to be able to manage your mindset better. That's very important for your success, and for that reason only, I wanted to highlight this point to you. So, whenever you bring in more sensory inputs into your life through various ways, through the digital mechanisms, through the phones, through even the newspaper, media, what you read, think about it and make a decision. Because if you let things to flow freely, if you let your life to go freely like that and thinking, these things can automatically take care of themselves. You're going to let your life to float in the way it floats. That's not the way you can design a great future. If you want to design a great future, you always need to manage these emotions and have a very positive, good state of mind. And I'm not saying you can't have a good state of mind, but you need to become really aware of this important point and keep protecting your temple, your mind. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful and inspiring time.